very excited about people seeing this movie. That isn't always the case. You say you're excited, but they just do it. Lucasfilm does such a good job, and the Force Awakens was fantastic. This is its own standalone. It's the first of its kind. So people are going to get to see more of a war movie, but in the Star Wars universe. I'm a droid. I'm sort of the new droid. I grew up with Star Wars, so C-3PO, R2-D2, BB-8. Things that's exciting about the Star Wars world, for me anyways. Like, remember the first one when they go into that bar and there's all those aliens from all those different places. That, of course, humans would be from all different places as well, so it just makes sense. And you get it in the movie. You never question it. It just works.
I think more than anything, the anticipation from fans. As we know, the world is filled with these incredibly loyal, very, very knowledgeable, very, very energetic, as we found tonight, Star Wars fans. And, they pump us all up. We're excited to begin with, but then all you have to do is be reintroduced to them, basically, face to face. And I feel the adrenaline is like sky high in me. Well, we set out initially to make 7, 8, and 9. The Force Awakens was the 7th Star Wars saga. But the idea was pitched to make what we call Star Wars stories. They're standalone films that have a lot in them that people will be familiar with. And they do fit into the overall Star Wars storytelling, but not necessarily in the chronological order that people have become used to.
There's something about the Star Wars brand that has both a coolness that appeals to young folks these days, and also a nostalgia value for those who have been around a long time that remember what George Lucas brought to all of this decades ago. So we have really tried hard to honor that by making each picture as compelling and as entertaining as we can possibly make them. And this one delivers.
Oh, this is the first standalone Star Wars film. This is a different kind of Star Wars film, and we're all in this one. So I guess that makes it particularly memorable for all of us involved. It's a really tough, beautiful Star Wars film. It's electric. People have been so excited about everything to do with this. It's not been like anything I've ever been involved in. It's a real honor. I grew up with this. It's one of the first most important films I saw when I was a kid. So for me, it's just like, it's big. It's big.
The fact that so many people love this franchise and have followed it for so many years and share it with their kids and parents, and it just makes it very special. We're going to be celebrating 40 years coming up. So pretty amazing. The story takes place just before A New Hope, but I think what's really nice is that no one really has to have seen Star Wars to step in and see this movie and enjoy it. It's all new characters. It certainly has a lot for the fans, for those that really know Star Wars, but it's also a great entry point. The cast has been unbelievably exciting ever since every single one of them came together, and much like the story in the movie, they just fell in love with one another, really, because they just get along unbelievably well, and they represent so many cultures around the world. So it's a very, very international movie because of that.
I think it represents the world that we lived in today. I think as the first Chinese actor who's been invited to part of the Star Wars universe, I'm really happy about that. So I think the fans and the audience gonna really dig this movie. They're gonna really love this movie. I think the look of it, I just think the style is so different from all the previous one, and I think the audience is gonna really enjoy it.
I think it's, for a lot of us, it's surreal because we grew up with it, and little did we know that it will survive for 40 years, and little did we know that we will end up in one of them. So it's completely surreal, but a great honor.
The joy and the happiness that people have with Star Wars is so special. And those films that have lasted from the 70s, and they are a part of film history. And to be continuing that is just extraordinary. It doesn't seem to matter what country you're in. There are stormtroopers, there are people in the audience dressed up and enjoying it. And that is what is so special about it, is it does cross It literally crosses continents.
It is pretty special to be part of this world because I grew up watching these films and I've been getting ready for this world since I was 6 years old, you know. The expectation is so high that people really want this to be great. Makes you feel you're in the right place, right? I'm doing the best an actor could be doing right now, which is promoting a film I care about as a fan. So that's special.
It's much bigger than you. You know, it actually doesn't give you a massive ego boost, or at least it doesn't give me doesn't give you a big head. It kind of makes you realize how small you are and how this really belongs to other people. And you're part of something that, you know, lots of people have created a long time ago in a galaxy far away. So it just kind of gives you a sense of how lucky you are to be a part of it, but also that you make a very small contribution. And what makes it more than anything else is the loyalty of these fans. So
I love the fact that it's a standalone. It allowed us to kind of go into this other area and deal with new characters and deal with people that you haven't seen before and places you haven't been before. So it was an incredible challenge to sort of create new ideas and new themes and new textures and all of these things for a series in which I've been in love with since I was 10.
That X-Wing's actually the one from the movie. They took it apart and shipped it over. I had no idea, but it's the actual one from the film. So when you see the movie, it's that one. I was always part of the Star Wars universe. I think a lot of people my age were always part of the Star Wars universe. And I was crazily lucky enough to get to make a film about it. I mean, in a weird way, it's like going back to your childhood. And so it's like returning home. And it's, you know, a lot of pressure making a film like this, you know, but equally you stand on set next to an X-Wing like you guys have tonight and you can't get that stressed out. It's like, this is like going back to my youth. For those who don't, you know, obviously Star Wars, there's many different episodes. You don't have to know any of that. Our film's on its own, and so you can come to the cinema, it can be your first Star Wars experience if needs be, and then it flows into this original Star Wars movie that I grew up loving. And I think the biggest thrill would be is if people watch it tonight and the first thing they do when they get home is they put on the original Star Wars movie, and then I feel like we've done our job.